Hello, Tyler Gordon here. Today we're going to be doing, I guess, a few more chores around the server. So I am currently at the location of the cocoa bean farm that we just completed really a day ago. Very, very new. There's a whole kind of build process, showcase, farm showcase, time lapse video that I made as well. So if you're interested in that, please consider checking that out. Yeah, so anyway, we've got a storage system here that is already full. So this is just a million item silo. We have 1 million cocoa beans. The farm's, really only been complete for less than 24 hours. So I guess do the math there. It's about 50,000 items per hour is the rate of this thing. So what are the chores that I'm going to be doing? Well, what we're going to do is take, I guess, probably 2 double chests of cocoa beans out of the storage here. And then I'm going to, maybe figure out some good ways of getting those crafted into 2 double chests of brown dye. And then we're going to take that brown dye and make a lot of brown stained glass. Maybe we'll make some other colors of stained glass as well. But yeah, so that is the basic plan. So let me go ahead and grab some of this now. We've got... there we go. Okay, 3 more trips. There we go. Now, you'll notice that our storage system is no longer filled. The indicator light turned off. So I better run the farm again. I guess this serves as a good opportunity to show how I start this thing. So right here is the empty box loading. There's a lever right here that we can use to turn on and off the farm. And this is, I mentioned in the video, but it's something that works best with a bot. So if you have Carpet Mod, you'd be familiar with this more than likely. But so I'm gonna spawn in a player here. Okay, there's Coco. I want to check the hitbox here and make sure. Okay, he's a little bit past the edge here, which is what I want, because then he's going to bump into this slime block and be perfectly against the side of these pistons. So now what do I need to do? Okay, player up, just in case he's not looking straight up. Okay, player Coco, use interval 2. Okay, so Coco is currently trying to place cocoa beans every 2 ticks. I'm going to go ahead and turn the farm on. There we go. So you can see the beans get broken. They fall basically right past Coco's pickup range. Anything that Coco doesn't pick up falls into our collection system, and then goes into our storage system up here. All right, so the next thing that we have to do is just basically craft all of this into brown dye. So obviously the vanilla way of doing that, we take a stack here, get that, we can even grab, basically the whole thing. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's great and all. Oh yeah, I should mention at this point that I'm in 1.20.1, so we don't have the auto crafter or the crafter block yet. We're going to upgrade at some point, but I don't want to have to wait to do any mass crafting project like that. And so luckily we're using, or at least I have, I think it's an item scroller or tweakaroo. There's a mass crafting thing, so I already kind of have that configured where I can add certain recipes in here, and then I've got a keybind that just kind of crafts everything as fast as possible. So there's our box of brown dye, and we can go through and do that with every single one of these, but it might actually take a little bit longer for me to design this and do what I'm about to do. But rather than reaching in here manually and grabbing each thing, I figured I'd maybe try and just design a quick little contraption that can speed up this process. It may not save time with this small of a batch, but if I end up needing a lot more of it, then, you know, I can use it there, and similar situations, things like that. So yeah, I'm going to go over to creative and just kind of wing this, see what happens. All right, so I was going to basically just riff over in creative, which is actually where I am now. But I remembered that literally one of the contraptions that I'm going to be using later in this exact video is close to what I need. So I've got here, you know, glass. Let me get rid of some stuff. I grab all the glass. The box gets replaced, ready to go. I can grab, you know, some dye. And then in this case, what's that one? Okay, so then I can add a crafting recipe for this. Craft up a bunch of red stained glass, and then do it again. So right over here is kind of the simplified version that I would need to take boxes of cocoa beans and craft them into brown dye. So showing that, oops, need to set up a recipe for it. Okay. There we go. I've got my brown dye. As soon as I fill this box, it gets replaced. One of the cool things about this system is that since we already have an empty box from every filled box, that actually just gets routed over to the dispenser that gives you the empty box. So it's essentially an automated way of placing, emptying, crafting the whole thing, putting it back in, and breaking. So all of those steps just kind of get simplified. The only thing that really can't be automated again yet, because we don't have the crafter, is the actual crafting operation itself. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and build this up somewhere sensible in the survival server. For lack of maybe a better spot, I think I'm just going to put this down in the basement of our main storage, where we just kind of have random bits and bobs. Oh, by the way, this is, you know, you may have seen the cocoa bean video. A really simple little cocoa bean farm that's kind of based on the El Mango concept with bone meal. And I ironically used this to start seeding the giant farm that we have. So, all right, yeah, somewhere around here. Let's get our maybe I want it tucked in the wall here. Oh, don't want to disturb this. All right, there we go. So that is, let's see, one, and about to have two full double chests of brown dye boxes. So now I just have to take this back into the end where I've got my glass crafting set up, and yeah, I'll see you over there. right, that's trip 1. Go ahead and just put these up in the brown dye spot. Got the other ones in here, the other batch. All right, so there's one. One more trip. All right, so that's what, 104 boxes, 108, 27, 54, yeah, 108 boxes of brown dye ready to go. So this next part is going to be the really annoying part. So basically, let me get rid of this. Okay, right here is where I put my whatever dye that I'm using. You know, previously I was using green dye because I was trying to fill up the green silo here. So we've got plain glass that comes in. So I'm going to go into camera, or free cam, I guess. You know what? No, I'm going to go into camera mode so we can look in some inventories here. So these chests are currently basically mostly filled with boxes of glass. This comes from, you could kind of follow everything. There's a couple of box loaders down here that are the outputs of these furnace arrays. So this is a sand specific furnace array. We've got some fuel that comes in here, just regular charcoal, which I'm actually, maybe I'll show off my charcoal farm at some point here. And then that just kind of, you know, drives over the top of this. So in order for us, basically, as I'm using plain glass to make brown glass, I want to make sure and replenish the plain glass that we're using. So I am going to go ahead and get that set up. So there's a few different things over here. We've got a concrete mode, we have falling blocks mode, and then glass. So I'm going to go ahead and start sending sand over from our duplicator, and then I'll put it in glass mode and show you that. All right, so here I am in kind of what I don't know, the duping bubble. It's what I've been calling it. This was a, you know, obviously a stronghold, but it was just kind of a weird underwater, like partially under the ocean stronghold. So it was kind of neat because you could see it from the top. So we decided to build kind of a, you know, a submerged bubble here, and then it's kind of a maybe a slightly outdated gravity block duplication design, but there's some I don't know, cool modifications that I made to it to make it reset more reliably, and just the whole design here I kind of like, so we're, you know, I'm gonna keep it. Okay, so we need some sand. Oh, it's over there. Okay. Squid. Ooh, glow squid even. That's fun. All right. We'll just get rid of the extra stuff here. I don't need that green dye anymore, but all right, so let's go ahead and turn this on. All right, so there's our sand entities, falling block entities. Right now, if I didn't do anything, it's in falling block mode, which means anything that drops in here is going to happen here pretty soon, I think. There it goes. So that sand passes right over these hoppers that are currently locked. These are, let's see, set up to filter sand. So right now all of the sand items are coming in through here, and then they're basically making their way around here, getting picked up by this silo. Yeah, but we don't want that. So what we actually want is glass mode. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And now all of our sand is going to be picked up and then dispensed out here. This basically ensures that nothing but sand can make its way over here, which is where we've got the furnace array set up. So all these furnaces are currently lit. We're producing glass as we speak. So I'm going to let that run, and I'm just going to craft up some brown glass. Now, earlier in the video, I collected 100 or so boxes of brown dye, and we don't need all of that. I only ended up having to craft 73 boxes in order to get 1 million boxes of brown stained glass. But, you know, it's just good to kind of collect a surplus of things whenever you have the opportunity to. Oh yeah, and I guess this section here, I'm just going to show you kind of at speed exactly how long it takes to do each of these, assuming that there's no like kind of lag that you're waiting on. So it was a bit of a grind, I'll say. Bit of a grind. All right, pretty sure that should do it. Waiting a second. Ah, there we go. So that is 1 million brown stained glass in storage. What I'm doing here, because I don't know that I actually really went over this. So this silo goes all the way up here and then connects. It's very storage tech is my passion, I realize. And then we've got a shulker box sorting system up here. I can't remember exactly whose design this is. I kind of had to modify things a little bit to get it to round the corner here and come around. But it's not all original work by any means. But yeah, so basically what's happening, what you just saw there, you know, we take the glass out, you know, we've got the box of dye here, craft that, put it in there, and then that shulker box gets dropped into this item elevator over here, and then it goes into a buffer. So this chest buffer, all that does is it basically sends the shulker boxes into the input at a kind of a regulated clocked interval, so that basically all the timings are super precise up here, so it kind of needs to have a little bit of help when it's getting just, you know, random boxes from me fast crafting. And I did want to actually mention that as well. So obviously, you know, 1.21 point whatever, you know, when the crafter block comes out, this is totally obsolete at that point. I'm probably still going to use it for the glass. You know, we've got 1 million brown stained glass now, and there's, you know, the other 16 stained glass variants as well as tinted glass. So, you know, I basically still have 16, not quite 16 million items to craft. I don't know. I just figured even though the fast crafting thing is almost like cheating, it still feels a little bit more involved than just kind of AFK doing this with crafters. And since I already built up this system, may as well use it, just to kind of get the fun of experiencing the grind there. So yeah, so we're gonna keep duplicating sand, sending it into our furnace array here, and let's see how many. Probably could use a fuel replenishment. Okay, it's in this chest, which I can't open because it's got a solid block over it. The chest of uncertainty here. So yeah, but anyways, what else is there? It's kind of it for the video, right? I was planning on maybe doing another color like black. That was not fun. That was a lot of work. So I'm gonna maybe do something else before I, tackle a couple other colors here. We still have a lot of dye to get, so that maybe there's gonna be a dye acquiring project, or even a series out of that where we kind of, there's a couple of different farms that we need to come up with basically to get a lot of the materials here. Yeah, amethyst shards are going to be a bit of a pain too. We have a little bit of that, but not enough for 1 million by any means. So let's see. I guess that's about it for today. So thank you for watching. If you got to this point, feel free to comment if anything was interesting, or if you want to see some things that I kind of glossed over. And if you like what I'm doing here and you want to see more, there's always that subscribe button. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day.